by Dex Soap. 1. Practice social distancing. 2. Wear your mask when leaving the house. 3. Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds using our Dex Soap. 4. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze. Choose Dex Soap for that extra cleanliness. Dex Soap is affordable and available nationwide.
The time is now 13 hours 33 in Guyana, and it is time for the second edition of Kaieteur Radio's newest program, Wake Up Guyana, with Leonard Gildarie and Danielle Singh. Good afternoon, lady and gentlemen.
Good
Gentleman, sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering whether you were out very late last evening there, and that is Kevin Smith, as always, a sense of humor that is out of this world. A good day to all in our studio, right across our beautiful people across this land of ours and across the Caribbean and the rest of the world. A good day to you. Welcome to this second edition here of Wake Up Guyana, Wake Up. Smell the coffee, wake up, start paying attention to what is important to you and the people of Guyana, and start talking, start demanding, start asking, start insisting that your neighbors and the rest of the villagers toe the line when it comes to doing what is right within the community, doing what is their mandate. So I want to say good day to you. I'm seeing my co-host is already geared up this morning very early. Let's get the show on the road. So she's here. How are you doing, Danielle?
I'm all right. How are you?
You look as if you have a lot more energy than I do.
Yeah, well, I am younger than you are, so.
Very good. It's a hard hit very, very early. I like that. So I think we have to transfer some of these. We have to transfer some of the energies to our people in Guyana, and let us
Yeah.
get the show right onto the road. Within it's 1:30 now, 1:35. At 3 o'clock, we are hoping to take a break because at 3 o'clock, the convention center will be the scene where the new cabinet members of the Irfan Ali administration will be sworn in. And based on what we're hearing so far along the grapevine, we're hearing some names, and it looks as if the Irfan Ali government, the Irfan Ali administration cabinet, is gonna they are gonna be some old faces coming back. When I mean old faces, experienced faces who's been wrong back in some positions. And while these are not confirmed officially, let us get right into it. The big one, the Ministry of Health. We're hearing that Dr. Frank Anthony is going to be leading the way with that. When it comes to Home Affairs, it is Robertson Ben, and you could remember that he was the former Minister of Public Works, and so there's some shift there. Across the Ministry of Agriculture, likely you're going to see a man named Siraj, Dharam Kumar Siraj, head of the Rice Producers Association. Again, these names are not fully confirmed yet, but good sources, people who would normally talk to us, they're saying these are the names that are going to be there. Ministry of Education, Priya Manikchan. These are the names that we're hearing so far. So there is, I think, we're going to see some new faces, lots of new faces. We understand that across at one of the ministries will be Deodat Indar. Sorry about that, Deodat Indar. And you know, he would have come from the private sector as the former chief at Starling Products Limited, would have taken over as a candidate within the People's Progressive Party. Now he's headed for a ministerial position. So let us see. There's some names, some old names in terms of experience who are going to be back at the key ministries. We are still going to be paying very close attention which ministry is going to be in charge of oil, whether there's going to be a new ministry, whether it's going to be the Ministry of the Presidency. These are key areas that we'll be looking at. Of course, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Social Protection are key areas we're going to be looking at for obvious reasons. One, we have the COVID-19 upon us, and then, of course, the Ministry of Finance. That is going to be one that has to be handled with care, with some attention being paid there, for the simple reason that we have to look at the economy. The economy is in trouble at the moment, and a lot of it has to be blamed on COVID-19. So let's pay attention to that. We are going to continue as we get the details, bring those stories to you. In the meantime, up in Berbice, the Upper Berbice Chamber of Commerce there is asking for the Quarantine River to be open. Apparently, the closure of that Quarantine River has placed hardship on the fishermen who would have been using it for a living. And so, of course, it would have hampered travel between Suriname and Guyana, and that was a necessary feature in which our Molson Creek ferry service was suspended. So we are going to be paying some attention. They have written, I think it's Jerry Gavaya, the private sector chairman, to see whether there's something, some kind of help could be given. Maybe the fishermen could start working back again. They've indicated that they're willing to wear the mask and do what is necessary so they could work to earn a living. That's over in Berbice, and so we could look straight into the front page because, as was promised, as was indicated yesterday, this program is not so much about us, it is about you, the people in Guyana. We want to hear from you. What is it that is bothering you? What is it that is happening in your community? What is it that you want your new government to do? So we want to hear from you. Yesterday, many complaints were coming from the people right across the lands, from land issues, applying for that, NIS issues, and of course mining, and several things. People are asking for help. People are suffering. So we want to hear from you because these are the stories which is going to get the authorities' attention to address some of the big issues that we were airing during the elections, after elections, in COVID-19 elections watch, and of course that would have come up in room 592. This evening, by the way, we are going to be joining Dr. Yog Mahadio as he leads the way with myself in room 592 with none other than columnist Freddie Kissoon. I'm interested in being part of that because Freddie Kissoon is the one who was predicting that it's going to take a long while before the coalition actually is out, and that is because he is predicting based on a number of things. I would like to see his face, but he's going to be calling us, so I presume we are going to ask him the questions. What does he think now? So Freddie Kissoon always he has an answer. So let's see what happens. Big that is going to be at room 592 this evening at 7:30. In the meantime, let's get straight into the front page of Kaieteur News, and then we are going to start taking calls, be discussing everything. A good day to you there. Also, Dr. Yog Mahadio, I know that you're busy doing your stuff there. We're hoping that you could join us whenever you can on the Wake Up Guyana show. Wake Up Guyana show. Let it be something that we talk about. You want your issues raised, call us. Let us know. We put it in those lines. Gentlemen, how are we making it in with putting in those lines? We have to have 2 lines. They said that they're working on it. Let's get straight into the front page of Kaieteur News, Guyana's largest selling daily and newspaper. So let's get ready. CCJ demands millions in costs from Attorney General Harmon and others in elections case. You remember they would have gotten a lady by the name of St. Davis, to file a case, not this one here, the one before that. And it went all the way to the CCJ, which was extremely critical of the case in itself and the role of Keith Lowenfield as chief elections officer and what he needed to have done. And so there were costs attached, and so it's coming back now millions of dollars. Eslyn Davis. That lady there would be one of the persons as an applicant who would be saddled with the cost. And so is the AG Chambers, as always, they are respondent in cases against the state and so on. And so Harmon also, Joseph Harmon, as one of the elections agent for the coalition, he would also be saddled with some of those costs. So we got to be very careful. There's a lesson to be learned here, Danielle, which is that whenever you put your name on these cases, that there's going to be repercussions. So don't put your name on any cases. I ain't going to put it. I can't afford. I'm a very poor guy, working from month to month. Exxon's promises, false, laughable. Um, uh, let's go back there. Exxon's promises false, laughable. Hold back the Payaro permit, international law urges. I think this is Melinda Janki. So they're saying, there's an argument. Look, let us don't look at anything with promises. Let us look at the permits that we're about to give. Use that as a bargaining chip. So there's some things that you could do. You don't have to negotiate back again. Maybe if that's not an option for us, we could do maybe withhold or use the issuance of a permit as a basis in which we could get better terms on a deal with Exxon, which has one of the biggest fines, oil fines in this part of the hemisphere. Nagamutu, yes, Nagamutu. Moses Nagamutu hands over keys to official prime minister residence, and this would have happened, I think, on Monday. And so that in itself, it's part of the transition process. He would have been there 5 years, and so it is time. Your time is up, and so he would have had to hand it over there. There's a new prime minister in the house, no other than former Army Chief Mark Phillips. A good day to you, PM, and a good day to Mr. Nagamutu, all citizens of this country, and there's some lessons to be learned there. Join the list still undecided on particulars of single parliamentary seat. You recall the three of the new parties would have been talking, and they're still to come forward with how they're going to do it. There are issues on the table like who, if you go on there as a parliamentarian, you could only get a automatic, or you could only get a pension if you spend at least 3 years. Of course, there's the issues of some benefits there. If you are a parliamentarian, you are entitled to a duty-free concession, unlimited, I think, CC vehicle, maybe SUV. That's something that many of them go on there for in the past. I'll call it names, but it is a reality. Some of them even ended up selling their duty-free concessions. And so that's something that we have to pay attention to, that that the Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, must do their work. That these jobs, when you take them on, there's the public service. You're serving the public. It's not there for you to make a profit on. And so many people would have been doing that in the past. So let us see if GRA could actually do the job right now and stop allowing these things to slip on the. So the three joined the parties, talking to each other to see how they would split maybe the benefits. Schumann's name, Leonard Schumann, of the Liberty and Justice Party's name was called as to on this. Colombian case court places former President Uribe under house arrest. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So you have a former president under house arrest. There's a Colombian president. CYA at the COVID hospital needed former health minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy. Not sure if he's going to be back in the government, but he's been very vocal leading up to the elections. Ex-army officer sentenced to life for killing reputed wife. And there's an interesting one, Ganesh Mahipal, a subject of much discussion last evening in room 592, in which the issue is, if you know that you've taken part in elections, it's not whether it's your right or not, but whether you would have used state resources, benefited, and so on. There's a new government in there. You're a contract worker. Do you have to give up? He's saying that they should give him 1 month notice to move out of the government house in Leonard there, living right next door to where President Irfan Ali is living. And he's saying that instead of that, they give him 3 months, 3 days, 72 hours to remove or to vacate from that government house. Let's see how that situation goes. Lots of people commented on it and criticized, said, let's do better. Let's don't do what happened in the past. Learn from former government ministers' mistakes and make transparency heart of oil sector. There's the energy and strategy advisor, Anthony Paul. So there's a clear message to the administration. So Denali, long talk there. What do we have for the people of Guyana today? I know yesterday many of them, and I'm seeing a lot of them are joining us today, right across the globe here. New York, Canada. How you guys doing? I want to say good day to our people in the Caribbean here, Trinidad, Brazil. Good day to you people, and of course Barbados, Saint Lucia. Yesterday we would have had what we had people coming from all the way from the Netherlands, from Norway,
Yeah.
and of course don't forget. I think most important is our people in Guyana been through the struggle. We all want to say a good day to them. And before we head to the phones, and let me tell you what it is. It is 2267453, 2267453. In 5 minutes, we head to the phones. And of course, you could text us on 6222222. Maybe you could get the phones ready, guys. Over to you, Danelli, and let's hear what is it that we should be talking to the people. What is it that we want from our government?
Well, a lot of persons would have, shared some of their expectations yesterday. We've been hearing persons talking about they want more accountability. We've been hearing persons, even just today, rather, we would have heard persons mention that they are hoping to see a new cabinet. And by a new cabinet, we're talking about younger persons in the cabinet. Just this morning as well, I saw somebody mention, are we going to get a cupboard or are we going to get a cabinet? So that is the main focus today. It's the main thing that has everybody going. That's what they're looking forward to today. I think everybody is excited to find out who is going to be heading which ministry, and so on. And persons are calling for a younger generation to come up and lead. They don't want the older folks. They want the older folks to sit back. Sometimes the older folks can be bent in their own ways. Could you, is this true? I mean, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not throwing shade or anything, but the older folks can sometimes be bent in their own ways. So.
I'm not sure about that. I always look forward to the older folks with experience. There's a lot of experience with the older folks. But I know that my dear friend, my former co-host, Yog, would have been taking pot shots at me. But it is, look, headed into something like this with the oil, that is oil sector, it's going to be oil sector driven economy in a few years. We are basically getting into the hang of things right now. I would think that by Jack Deal, because although Irfan Ali and let's look back at it, Irfan Ali and Anand Lal would have been there, they would have been competed for that presidential candidate position. That was something that was hotly contested. I think cool heads prevail because you see right away the swearing in day on Sunday. Irfan Ali said there's a couple of key appointments right away there. It is a very serious cabinet that we're looking at here. It looks as if they want to get this thing, let's hit the road, let us address these issues. At least that is what we're seeing. As the days go by, we'll see how that works. But what was interesting for me is that right away after Bar Jagdeo as the vice president, you would have seen Anand Lal as the Attorney General, which I thought was a very good thing because, of course, there was toss-ups between other names like Sanjeev Dattadin. Even Devendra Kissoon's name was being called, the young, brilliant people. But it looks as if this new administration is saying, let's have a mix of things. So there's going to be a lot of new faces I'm hearing. That Indar I hear that is going to be there. Siraj has been around for a very long time. Tremendous experience here with Rice. He was always touted as a good minister, should be a good minister of agriculture because of his experience, logistics, drainage and irrigation, among other things, and of course with trading and so on. So his experience there with the Rice Producers Association should be a big boast if our information is correct and he becomes the Minister of Education. The other thing that significant experience here with the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He's shifted from a private sector, very successful Sterling Products and so on, with the Bihari families that own there. So he'd be coming there with a lot of business experience. Where does he go? We're hearing that it's probably as a junior minister in the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. Let us see if it's that, or maybe there is the Ministry of Business as well. Are they going to be a renaming of the ministries? We don't know as yet. All these things are being kept very tightly on the wraps by the administration, but you are hearing them. Ramson, Charles Ramson Jr. He's one of the young bloods that would have been coming out, talking about the oil and so on. Does he have a position? We'd have to wait. But there's so many other things. Maybe not necessarily a ministerial position. Maybe there's some other things because there's the oil play and different areas there. Do we have an entire ministry that is going to be ministry of oil? It is going to be Ministry of Energy, and maybe to put somebody to head there is going to be interested. Does it fall under the Ministry of the Presidency? Is the Ministry of the Presidency going to be renamed the Office of the President as it was prior to 2015? Let us see what happens. But all these things are up in the air. But we're hearing that the cabinet is going to go for the big ministries, some experienced people, because Ashley Singh, there was a toss-up between Ashley Singh whether he was going to come back or not. He was living overseas. But we're hearing that he says, yes, I'm going to be back. I'm willing to serve. And so he is going to come back there. So the big ministries are going to see, maybe with the list shifting around, come back under the experienced hands, and the other ones you're going to see a lot of new faces there. So that's pretty interesting there. But that answers. I hope that answers the questions with regards to young people.
There must be a balance. There must always be a balance. Age and experience, they go hand in hand.
I would be interested also to see where we're going to go with the Ministry of Youth Sports
Yeah.
Culture, because this is something that I believe, although there was a director of sports here, I think we could have done a little better. I would want to see one of the ministries place special emphasis on cohesion, social cohesion. There's a lot of damage done, and you folks could probably tell us, good day wherever you join us from. See New York in the house, Canada. How did the tropical storm Isaiah? I saw some fallen trees, people picking up the debris and picking up. I'm glad that it hasn't been more serious than that, that it's just minor damage. But I did see some water in some places. So I hope that you guys are safe. A good day to you there in New York. But to come back to Danelli, social cohesion is something very important. Based on what you saw, were you seeing a lot of division among the people in this
Yes.
last elections?
Yeah, there was a lot of division, not just among the older folks, but what we would have seen is that a lot of the younger persons, the younger guys out there, they themselves would have been a part, of, the whole racism thing, talking race, saying things that they really and truly don't understand, because what we as the younger generation, and I can speak for the younger generation, what we have seen is that everything that we would have heard about past experiences between the political parties, these are all stories that were passed down from the older generation to the younger generation, and that has had an impact on the way you look at politics now, and that is why a lot of young persons would have not, they wouldn't have voted, because they're saying, oh, we don't want any part of this political thing, it's nasty, and so on. But throughout the entire electoral process, we have seen a lot of division, and it is continuing to happen. And persons are saying, what's happening with the ERC? What's happening with the Ministry of Cohesion and all these ministries? Why are they not playing a part? Why are they not coming out and putting a stop to this and to addressing the issue of race and division that has been going on in the country for, let's say, the last couple of months, half of the year?
Yes, let us see what happened. But I think the good thing is that they're moving very quickly with the cabinet, and let
Yes.
us see what happens. I like the fact that Robertson Ben, tremendous experience there, that he's bringing back. He was in the mining and then with the Ministry of Public Works and so on. Let's see how that goes. But let us go. 2267453. Who would you like to see in the cabinet? Maybe it's a little too late, but what is it that you want to see your ministers do? How do you want to see them tackle the business? Maybe in the for 6 months, let us hear from you guys. What is happening in your community? We want to hear from you how you'd want the ministers to deal with your community. But not only that, what would you say to the leadership? There's going to be new leaders within the regions, so we want to hear from you guys. Let us head to the line now. Good day, you on air.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
This call is from Mara.
Mara, yes.
Yeah, a place named Mara.
That's on the East Bank, Essequibo?
No,
Where's it?
boy.
Barbies, yes.
Yes, my name is Tillo.
Tillo.
Yes, I work for PPP during the election time, and again, name that I did, but I'm still alive. But I just listen to our program day and night, and I feel so happy that if and at least we're in. But what we begging for is we road. We really need we road. We nail it. Because we just got to go out and sell we produce to sell in New Amsterdam market. And right now the road is terribly
Where
bad.
exactly in Barbies is that?
In Mara, Barbie, to come up this way.
No, is it on West Barbies, East Barbies? Where is it?
Is East Bank Barbie.
East Bank.
Yes.
All right, here what I'm going to do, for, what I'm going to advise you to do. There is the regional RDC office there, the Regional Democratic Council office there. Either
Yes.
Mr. Armagon or anybody there. And you also have your NDC in the area there. You make, you approach them, start approaching them. We
Well,
got to
well,
start do
for the,
that.
for
And
the
let us do
past
that.
5 years,
Uh-huh.
we really beg for them, just patch it up and all.
Uh-huh.
And then them ain't do nothing. So we go try now by
Yes, do that because I think we got to understand that we have these people here now. Before time, people used to be scared to approach your NDC chairman or the councillors. Some you even hear stories of them shouting on
yes.
the people.
And
I
my husband used to work with DNI and then knock them off since 8 p.m. you going. So right now we ain't getting no proper job.
mm-hmm.
So we trying, if we could get back to DNI work, because then for cut alongside the road, because the road really bad, because when you get your vehicle and you got to go out, it just scratching up the vehicle.
Yes, I hear you, ma'am. Myra, East Bank, Berbice.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. You too.
Good. Thank you very much, dear. So it is one of the big things that we would have been hearing is that you would be hearing people would be coming from time to time and saying that they've approached NDCs, you've been RDCs. I think even though you might not have money for it, you have to plan these things because the roads in the area, the drainage in the area, you have to plan it and then they have a budget and see whether it could fall part of the common budget. Sometimes you hear people complaining that when I go there, nobody don't take it on. We don't hear anything. 5 years, nobody really even looked and made promises. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back in the next 6 months and deal with that issue. How does Bartica? Did Bartica had? Do they have a vibrant NDC there? Do they have a good RDC? I know it's a township now.
Yes, it is. Yes, they have a very young and vibrant team, a regional administration as well as municipality leaders of the municipality. The mayor of Bartica, he is a young man, as we know. He has youth on his side, and he has a young team working along with him. And together with the Regional Democratic Council, they were able to, get a lot of things done within the township of Bartica since, of course, becoming a town in 2017. So Bartica has seen a lot of development since then.
Yes, and so we got to continue. I think the issue is people should not be afraid. These representatives, they are there because of the people, and we got to start understanding that you approach them, you talk to them. They're not kings. They're not. They should not be viewed as gods or anything. But they're there to do a job, and you make sure that you tell them. And if you don't do that, the newspaper is open here. You guys write. You guys could go on social media and you guys could raise it. These are things that can happen. But do not allow, the same thing to continue. Do not throw garbage around the place. Protect yourself, protect your kids. Let us do things the correct way. Let us not give a bribe. Let us start. It's a new day for this country. Let us start doing things the right way. We have to. If you know you're going out on the road and you don't have a document for your vehicle, do not go out on the road without your document. The police stop you, would have to give some money. Because that is how life is in Guyana. Everybody knows what is playing out. So do not do anything that is going to put you in a position. If you know that you're going to go out somewhere to have a drink, which you're not really supposed to because you're not supposed to be out there like that, make sure that you don't be driving afterwards because we see many cases. It is madness out there. I don't understand why is it that we have so many accidents. Why is it that we want to go somewhere so very quickly? It has to stop. We have to put a stop somewhere, and it begins with you and it begins with me. And so, do we have any messages there in the meantime while she's pulling it up? Let's go back to the lines. Good day, caller, you on the air. Yes, good day, caller, you on the air.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Gildarie.
Yes.
And Danielle is Singh.
Yes, sir.
You know what I would like to see with the PPP party? I would like to see all of the young people who campaign with the PPP party. I'm not saying that you don't have to put a proper figurehead. You have to put a person with experience in the ministry, of course, right? But these young people need to be fitted in and groomed to go upstairs there. Because if you leave them in a PS or whatever, how are they going to get the experience? You understand? And they get many positions they can put them in. I'm not saying that all of them have to get a ministerial position. They got many positions that they're going to be fitting into. You understand? But I hope that they don't make a mistake. All of the PS them, the present PS them that was in there, need to be removed. My opinion, they need to be removed. You understand? I heard on your program you were saying this guy from Rice Producer Association. Guy that followed up a lot. What is his name again?
Dharam Kumar Siraj. That's what we're hearing.
Yeah, but he has a very good idea with the agriculture sector. No doubt about it. Because remember, agriculture, you have to know about rice farming and all these things. You come under that. So you have to get a proper minister there to put into that position. You understand? We just got to watch and see. I only hope that we don't make a mistake back like what we made 5 years ago. You understand? And get the right people in the right position. You understand? You can't take all. I won't call them. You had some ministers, what I would call pensioners. They need to be just removed completely. You could put them as a chairman at certain places. You understand?
Well,
I think that this guy deserved the education ministry. Who is this red guy again? He just be on your program many times.
A red guy?
Yeah, he's a mixed person.
I'm not sure who he's talking about.
What's the guy name? Todd.
Todd?
Yeah.
Yoke Todd?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens.
I think he's a very, very bright boy for the Ministry of Education sector.
Yes.
Even you put him as a junior minister. You understand?
Yes.
Those are people. I mean, Gildarie was a long struggle PPP go through here to get back in power.
Well, the thing is, I've always said it, and I'm going to maintain that this country, I'm really, really afraid that we don't sideline the people because I keep saying it over and over.
Yeah, because if you had watched when she come, I live right in the area, When she come, with these guys, I'm watching that container night and day sitting down there, day and night. You understand me? You have to look at those aspects with them. They go toe to toe with you right through. I mean, small parties, them did a wonderful job, A wonderful job. There's no doubt about that. They did a wonderful job to stick out with them right through. You understand? So, let us hope and watch and see what will actually, because I know 3 o'clock is the swearing in of the ministers, them, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're trying to get in as much calls and see how we can get it. But we appreciate your thoughts there, and let us see how it goes. I agree with you, but I guess a lot of things when you have several persons seated around the table and they have to make decision. Do I use Gildarie? Do I use Kevin Smith? Do I use Danielle? Who do I put in a particular position? I think there's
Anyway, you
several
must
things.
always remember, though, you have done a wonderful job. Right, true.
For the people of Guyana, we have to do what we have to do. Thank you very much,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
God bless. So, Denali, do we have any comments from our good people of Guyana?
Yes, we've got a message coming in from a 21-year-old from Essequibo. They're saying they have a minimum of 7 C-sex subjects, and it's been 4 long years. They're having a hard time getting a job. I would like to emphasize on this new government, or rather, they're imploring the new government to create job opportunities for young people. Secondly, they're living in a street and it really needs upgrading. It has a lot of potholes, and usually when it rains, it's a hard task making your way out to the public road. He's saying that I've been to the NDC numerous times. Unfortunately, all they would say is that they cannot help in no sort of way because only one household has been affected. Let's talk about the job opportunities. Now, I know that this government had promised 50,000 jobs. So persons are wondering now, how are they going to find these 50,000 jobs, especially when our economy is at a standstill because of COVID-19?
Well, it's a good question. I think Irfan Ali in his wisdom was looking at maybe a pre-COVID kind of situation, but you have COVID that is upon us right now. So that will take, and I think nobody is going to fault this government for not being able. 50,000 is what you must have a figure there that is going to have to be. You have to aim for something. Let us see, because he would have explained how he arrived at that 50,000 from the sugar sector, from the ICT, and some other areas that you could give it back, and from the oil and so on, the oil related sectors. And mining and so on, that you could really get back. Don't forget that you would have lost some jobs here from, I think it is the bauxite sector there,
Yeah.
with the Russian bauxite, Rusal up in Berbice. And of course, the good news is that we have gold, gold at $2,000 now,
Mm-hmm.
$2,000 plus. I'm not sure, but I think the gold miners got to capitalize on that. But be safe, folks. Too much of madness that we hear this going on here. And by the way, we hearing your name called Mr. Jeff De Silva, former Minister of, I think, Tourism in Guyana. I think it is, or Minister of Business, I think it is. But he, I think, has migrated, but his name is being called right now to come back and serve in some kind of position. He has some good experience here in trade and other things in trade relations, and so let's see what happens. But there are many young persons here now, like the gentleman said, that is going to be that's going to be catered for maybe in different positions, not necessarily ministerial position. But what is important also is that there's a telecom sector that we'd have to look back at, because as of now, I think that was an area that by Jagdeo would have been paying very close attention to, leading up to 2011, even up to 2015. They wanted to break that monopoly that GT&T had. They made the moves on it. Unfortunately and shocking and shamefully, we 10 years down the line, and that is not happening. Uh, they had said that situation with Venezuela, with the border, was like a monkey around our back. I think that was what former President David Granger would have said. I think GT&T is like a monkey around our back because of the poor service, what they would have done to us during COVID-19. I have no apologies about that. This is not something that the people of Guyana should be saddled with. We should move forward. We should get it over with. Get other companies here. I mean, you go to America, they got companies there. They complying, they're doing, they're giving service. Internet is good. Phone, if you got a problem, there are ways how you could go and complain. So these are not issues that we want to be seeing ourselves 5 years from now not being fixed. And I think people like Yog Mahadio, whether we like it or not, has a good role to play maybe in the telecom sector, maybe advising the government on the way forward. Do we have any more?
Yeah, we've got somebody here. They're calling for the Skeldon estate to reopen. They need more jobs. I think this is a hot topic. More jobs. People are calling for more jobs. But you see, like we would have mentioned, because of COVID-19, the amount of job opportunities out there, it has significantly decreased. But, we are hoping to see our economy catching back itself in no time.
Yes, absolutely. And so, in the meantime, we must tell you that there's unconfirmed reports that the Special Purpose Unit, there's a SPU of NISIL, which was charged with privatizing Gaisuko's assets of the foreclosed estates, and that was headed by Colvin Heath London. Apparently, this is located at the LBI compound there, where the former estate was, that was closed years back, that it was broken into, and maybe we hearing records missing and so on. We have not seen an official statement, but it is very suspicious at this time. The guards all around the place there, who would want to bypass all the guards to go into a place where probably money is not there. Why would you do that? So there's a lot of suspicions over that alleged break-in. We're trying to get some other news with regards to that. Let us see how that happens. In the meantime, let's go back to some calls. Yes, good day, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I just have a suggestion. I think that our government should look into for universal health care for pensioners.
University, I didn't get that.
Universal health care for pensioners.
Explain what exactly you mean by that.
Okay, that like if like the pensioners can afford to like go to a private hospital, so you have a hospital that which you have a health care card, and that could pay for your medical.
So you're saying that you want to have a choice as a
Yes,
citizen,
a choice,
but who's
yes.
paying? Who's paying for that?
No, well, you have like a government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody they go to America,
Mm-hmm.
and you could go, you get sick, you could go and get your health look after at one of the public hospitals for free,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And then you have like you have insurance, but they're gonna pay your bills. Like the government have
Mm-hmm.
some insurance that they're gonna help you with your bill.
Mm-hmm.
Like pensioners, they have their pension is not enough,
Mm-hmm.
so you have an health care like for pensioners.
Well, I hear you with that. That has been an issue that has been a very sore topic for me, because a lot of people now are dependent on the public healthcare system for help, and that does not do enough. And so, if you got to go to a private hospital, you have to pay that out of your own pocket.
Yes.
It is a topic that needs to be discussed, but it all comes
Yes,
back at
but
the end of the day.
I can get in more details about it, and I could call in a next program.
Yes, absolutely, but it all comes back to bottom line, whether the government has money.
No, not now, but
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
lobby for it.
Oh yes, yes. These are things, and maybe our oil money, because
Yes,
we've
because-
I've always
right.
said that we have to look at the
Yes,
pension.
Not
We have
now,
to look
but
at
you look into
right,
it, you
right.
lobby for it. So, and in the near future, we could get that for the pensioners,
Yes.
and could raise their NIS,
Uh-huh.
because the NIS is not much, and then you have to pay from your bill. And like if you is not like you didn't had a heart problem before you retire, you cannot get anything in that field. Like if you was a worker, and during your period in time before 60, you didn't had any heart problem or eye problem. Now, if you reach 60 and you get retired, you cannot get any help in that capacity.
Well, I do like your ideas. Let me tell you why. There's nothing wrong with us talking, although we might not have the money
No,
right
no,
now.
no, no. It's our government.
Right, right. We have to start
Um,
having this conversation right now.
But just suggestion. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Maybe a couple of years from now, Danielle might be thinking about
Yes.
retiring, and she got to get something. It is, and I always say I don't want to get old and be dependent on NIS. It's something I worry about every single day.
No,
How am I
this
going to
is not.
live?
This is not all. when you work, you pay NIS. So when you retire, you get a money from NIS, and that help you out to maintain your life.
But
So
is it enough? Because with inflation and so it's always something. But it is a good conversation to have
yes,
because of oil and everything. Where do you put the money in it? So it's a whole conversation
yes.
there. And I agree with you. I agree with you
Because it's
everything
for
there.
pensioners. Because when you have to buy a tablet, if you have to buy a tablet like for 15,000 from your NIS of 40, then 15,000 goes for that medication. Then your bills is the next 15. So then you're left with nothing.
Absolutely, absolutely,
So
dears. So let us see how that goes. We
yes,
take it there, and
because
we're gonna
you said
continue.
that you could call in and you could just a suggestion.
No,
So
we want you. These are the kind of things.
yes,
This program here, Wake Up Guyana, is for us to start thinking differently. Let us take the conversation to another level. What is it that you want your government to do? What is
yes,
it that Danielle want her government to do as a young worker, now entering or has been
yes,
around? We
yes.
we want to see better security in the neighborhood. You should not be afraid to go out on the road and then so wondering
No,
if
no, no.
somebody would rob you.
Security,
It,
security.
these are issues. But I take it. I take what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
but
thank you
security
very
is the
much.
main one for now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, and do have a
Yeah,
pleasant.
but I miss you today.
I miss him a lot too. But yoga is such a wealth of information. I've learned so much thing. I'm not necessarily a radio person. I prefer writing, but I've learned to tolerate radio, and then because of the warm people like you, I
Yes,
have to live with it now. So I'm
yes,
I'm not. I won't say that I'm stuck with it right now, but guess what? The people have made it worth every minute of the day. You listen to
yes.
them, and they're so warm. We have good people in this country.
We have better fresh air now,
Oh yes, oh yes.
and
So
we
let
gotta
us see.
thank God for that.
Yes, let us move this country. Let us
Yes,
have it. It is not like I said over the weekend. It is not time for us to be triumphant. It is not
I
time for
know,
us to
no.
celebrate. Let us, be humble. Let us. Our party is one, and I'm not saying my party is one.
No, the
The people have
Guyanese,
spoken.
Guyanese one.
Guyanese have won. Did we really win? Well, that's another question for another day. So,
And the 5 month make us stronger.
yes, ma'am, I hear you very much.
All
So,
of us make stronger, and we work hand in hand together to build a better Guyana.
I like your attitude.
And thank you very much, and tell Yogi could come on one time because we missed the voice.
Yes, yes, yes. He's there.
Okay?
Thank you
All
very much.
right, thank you.
God bless. Thank you very much. You have some other questions here?
All right, we've got it's coming out from New York. This is Fazal. He's saying he hopes that the new administration will make a report or make the report public on the assassination of Dr. Walter Rodney from the Commission of Inquiry. And this is something that a lot of persons have been calling for as well. People are wondering what does this report entail? What does it say?
Parts of it had come out and it had shown a particular thing, but it is right. We will, as media people, be asking the government. There's a report that is sitting on I think, the president's desk. It's supposed to be sitting there. And so I don't think they would have any objections to having it made known to the people. But to come back to what this lady would have said there, these are very, very good issues. When you go abroad, big issues like healthcare. Healthcare is a big issue. It is divided the U.S. because when they're fighting, should immigrants have access to the healthcare system like others have? And so there was a lot of fighting. But guess what? We have to continue having this conversation because we have oil right now. Let me see. Um, uh, okay. We will. The former Minister of Education, Priya Manikchan, will return to that portfolio. Manikchan, also former Minister of Health and Human Services, last served as Minister of Education under President Donald Ramatar. And so there we have it. It's confirmed. Going back to the Ministry of Education would be Priya Manikchan. And that is, I think I'm not too surprised with that because of some things that she would have done there under the ministry. And of course, with her experience, I think it was a natural toss up that you would have a Manikchan returning there. So let's see as the stories come out, we will be talking. But to come back to this lady who has raised this very good point, benefits. How do we use our resources to especially address the needs of the vulnerables? These are issues that we have to continue to have discussions about. Many persons, if you go by the post office, it aches my heart. We used to go give sandwiches and cup of Milo or so maybe every other week through our foundation. Because you see them sitting on the early in the morning to collect that, I think 20,000 or whatever it is that they collect there. But you could see that had they had a choice, that would not have been there. And some of the post offices were forced after a while to build sheds because people were standing up in front. It was horrendous. Some of the things that were older folks or senior citizens have to experience. And I mean, but we have to start learning also that paying our NIS, paying our dues and things like that. Do not take it that you receive some money somewhere and the taxman is not seeing it.
Yeah.
NIS also is not seeing it. And so when you receive next to nothing or you don't get enough to get your monthly pension, and NIS is in a little trouble too because on the long term, while they have money now, billions of dollars, long term, because they're getting less and less income revenues, it's going to bottom out. They're paying a lot of money out right now, so it's going to hit somewhere. I think the shortfall is there right now. So back to whatever we have.
All right, and just want to touch on something that you mentioned. The Ministry of Social Protection has implemented a program, and I know they have done this for some of the hinterland regions, where senior citizens would have to travel long distances. They would have to spend a lot of money on transportation just to go to the post office to collect the small amount of money that they get for pension. So what the Ministry of Social Protection has done, they have implemented this service whereby representatives would go out. They can go into the smaller communities in the smaller villages, and persons can have access to their pension there. That way, they don't have to spend or have to sacrifice an arm and a leg to just go and collect their pension. So the Ministry of Social Protection has taken that into consideration, and a lot of the senior citizens out there, they have been, expressing their gratitude to the ministry for doing that. So we are going to be, or rather, we should hope that this new ministry, this new government will implement even more strategies, to ease the burden off of our senior citizens as well. And let's go back to taxes. Let's talk about taxes. The woman would have mentioned that, you're a senior, you have to go buy your medication and you're not getting money. Maybe the government can look into, persons, maybe if they get a card or something, senior citizens get a card, they can visit a pharmacy or a store, a drugstore, to get their medication for free instead of having to pay for the medication. Because what you find in most cases, the hospitals, they wouldn't have the medication, so they would write a prescription and send the older folks to the store to get it, and it can sometimes be very, very costly. So, I mean, she made a very valid point there. And another thing coming out of that as well, what you see happening is that persons retire at the age of 55, but they don't receive pension until the age of 60. So what happens between that 5-year period? What plans does this government have, to ease the burden of persons? Because not a lot of senior citizens are given the opportunity to stay on the job or to extend their contract. So when they reach 55, they're home. What happens now?
Very good questions, and so these are things that we'd have to discuss. We have a Cassidy Collymore in our Facebook feed. He's saying, Leonard, that pension pickup have to change. To pick up your book takes like a year. It takes all day. I waste one day of my vacation to help my family. They've been waiting there. And so, yes, people are suffering. I think there would have been some improvements, or there would have been some introduction of some measures to people to pick up. Maybe if your name begin with A on a particular day, you would have seen
Yes.
these notices. How has that been working? We don't know, but you're quite right. But here is a text message that's coming. Interesting. Leonard, I have a question that should be asked by you. You guys, if the new president, they made a lot of noise about the large salary increases that were given to ministers. Are they now prepared to roll back some of this? It will be a huge plus for them, especially with the state of the economy. The other thing that is what has prevented the president from using the state car. Is he going to ditch the expensive bulletproof vehicle so he can now have one of his choice? That would be a waste of taxpayers' money and does not show humility. What if the other ministers choose to do the same? We have to ensure that we start holding the feet to the fire, and this is coming from a concerned citizen, a supporter of the party. Let us, we are going to have people who who love the party, but is not would be willing to criticize them if they see something out of the way. So they're saying, the president should use his official vehicles. Maybe they're maybe sent for cleaning. We don't know that. I think there was a photograph of a very nice Jeep. I think it's a
Ford, yeah.
it's a Ford pickup that was being used. But I think temporarily had to be protected, and so I'm not sure at what point he was sworn in all of a sudden without. I think leading up to his swearing in on Sunday, I don't think there was police protection for him. I'm not aware that he had for presidential finale. I think after then they had to rush him to the swearing in at the cultural center. So they had to get a vehicle, and I think somebody provided a vehicle for him to use. I think that should be corrected. I think by now they should have a. I think we have some Lexus and some Toyota Crown cars. There's some Jeeps and so some Land Cruisers that they would be using. So let's see what happens. I think the situation should be corrected and corrected very quickly. Let's go back to the calls. Good day, caller. You on the air?
Hello?
Yes, good day, caller. You on the air?
Yeah, good day. Mr. Gildarie program?
Yes, you're on air. This is Gildarie and Danielle.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir. Good day.
Uh-huh.
Listen now. I got one comment to make, right?
Uh-huh.
Because, listen, I came back to this country 1 year, 4 months now from Suriname, right, since 2018. I spent all my life during the Barnum season in Suriname, right? I all my children born in Suriname, I bring them over here to make a living. Cover my income to make a living here. Okay. When I come here, I pass the settlement. Okay, yes, I say, man, like I jump in the car and jump, run from the car and jump in the grave. So now we choose and we vote and we get to president. We wait a long time for the president. But I want the president to do one thing for us. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
One thing. I live in a project where my president was a minister, but now he turned president, right? But this is what him project where he lives. It's Zillat Phase 3, right? New scheme Phase 3.
Which area is this?
Zillat Phase West Coast.
Zillat.
Yeah, Zillat
Yes.
Phase 3, right?
Uh-huh.
All what you want, him to do now, right? To just make the road free.
So road for Zillat, right? Phase 3.
Yeah, let him make the road free now. So I bring my children up. I is a contractor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we depend on our vehicle now for go in and come out. So the kind of the road what we got here now, I telling you, is every 2 weeks you have to buy something for your vehicle. The road very bad.
I can imagine. I saw some photographs there. Could you do me a favor? Could you do the application officially? Let us start approaching our NDCs and our RDCs. Let us not think. Let us write them, and if you see they don't respond, you write the newspaper. You write us, and we carry a letter in the newspaper. I think that's what the letter pages are. Look, you've been waiting 5 years. This is the state of the road. Take out the picture, send it to us, and let us start the ball rolling. That is what you
But
have
this
as power as a citizen.
When I buy this land, right? I was in Suriname, and I come over and buy this land. I had this land 5 years. Then I decided to come home back and live now. Because I said, man, my country coming forward. Because when me PPP party lose power, they left a lot of money in treasury. So I say, man, the government coming now. I will go more far in life. So when I come back here, I see that, man, the thing keeps keeping going down. We have to stand up and do something. Right? So we vote and we wait. We have patience and we wait several months to get results and we get our people back in power. Right? So we know that's how we are getting going. But I'm in rushing my president because he got a lot on his head to do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Okay. So all what we need now, let's focus on this road here for me.
All right, you do me a favor. I want you to approach your NDC in the area. It doesn't take when you come out to the car. Just drop in.
Me right now, right? You saw me fresh in Guyana. We don't know where the NDC get for this car, for this area,
Okay, right in Breeden Hope there's the RDC. There's a gentleman there who I think is the chairman, Julius Faber. You tell Julius Faber that Kaieteur News tell you to come in and make your application for a road in the area. They have to start the process somewhere and make the budget for it.
Wait. Go over back again by Breeden Hope.
By the Breeden Hope, by the Thorn there, there's a big by a couple of buildings that burned down there. Right next door to that is the RDC Region 3.
Is that the regional, the housing place?
Yes, right there, right where the regional place is. You make your application right there.
I go get my house, lad.
Yes.
Okay.
So you just tell them
So
that you
what I
want,
gotta tell them?
but start making. You see, unless you put in an application, it's like a house lot. Don't come ask me for a house. I can't give you a house lot. But if you put in an application, you could start doing a couple of things there. So let's go through the procedures.
I got my house lot. I live here already.
Right, 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 right. No, I'm just
Uh-huh.
saying not you, but any other persons. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, my brother. God bless.
No, but are we talking about this road?
Oh, the road, yes.
Yeah. It's the road I got it over. So all I want my president to do for build the road for us.
Right, right, right.
Uh-huh.
All
I
right.
got it over.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Okay.
God bless.
Okay, good.
Bye. So we are going to be seeing a lot of callers, and they're going to be complaining about things that are happening in their community. We want you to bring those complaints to us because this is a Wake Up Guyana show. It is on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1, 99.5. You could also get us on Kaieteur Radio. Facebook, on YouTube, it is Kaieteur Radio live stream. You could get us right there, right now. I want to say good day to all the persons up in Berbice, including my dear friends there from the Nanpasad group. How you doing? Moy and Rajan, how you guys doing? Mr. Gobind Harbijan, how you guys doing there? Raj Lake Ram, Berbishans, how you guys doing? So let's get back to the caller. Yes, good day, caller, you on the air?
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
This is a call up on Blackbush.
Blackbush, oh, that's a far away. Blackbush Polder.
Yes.
Yes, I love that place.
Listen to your program for every day and actually every night.
Yes, sir.
When I hear people talk about ministry polls and all kind of polls, but what happened to human resource in this country?
Good question.
Yes, human resource. Tell us a little about
You
what you're
have to
thinking.
spend money on human resource. That's why you see Guyana get brain drain. Everybody go away outside because they hear on girls say for execute, they get too much subject and you get job.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing, right? In Blackbush, if you see have a road condition, if you see this road, soon time people go catch fish from this road up.
I could remember that road there. So much money they had spent to build the one that is leading from number 43 village there.
To Adventure Head, 22 miles.
22 miles. They had spent, was it over $1 billion or it's 400 something million?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I really know.
Yes, I was in there a couple of weeks back and there were some big ditches along that road there. I was very upset. I think
I
even...
really need to make this road. You see the past administration, I've never seen them for this 5 years, so you can give a tax to them.
What about the regional chairman, Mr. David Armstrong?
Well, you see, this thing, you know, raise this thing, you're going to come racialism thing, you're talking, you know, making one target thing in there.
Uh-huh.
And the next thing, me personal believe it, they should have really decentralized everything in this country.
Like different regions?
Yes, because you know why I say so. If you need one, if you gotta go look after one car registration, you gotta go to Georgetown.
But isn't there a branch of the Guyana Revenue Authority up there?
You have to go in Georgetown still, don't care if you're going to Amsterdam, you're still gonna send you in Georgetown. You see that thing you know, all the more burden from people.
I agree with you. I think the passport office has gone up there now, right?
Yeah, well, the passport gone up there now, but there is registration we on vehicle. If you go sell an old vehicle now, you still gotta go to the Georgetown. You don't know what sense that make.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, and I think that there's something that we probably have to ask. You're right. You're right.
I have some more question to ask you.
But go ahead. You have it very quickly. Go ahead.
The personal belief, Mr. Frank Anthony should have remained Minister of Sports. You know, he did a wonderful thing during the past regime.
Okay, I remember that you guys got I think it was in the Yakasari area there.
Yes.
There's a cricket ground there.
Yes, and I believe Mr. Siraj should have a post, you know.
Well, we're hearing that he might be the new Minister of Agriculture. No confirmation yet, but we hear it.
Yes, you see, he's a man you can go anywhere and talk to him. You know, he's so simple.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I should believe Mr. Ashley Singh should have because where was he all this time?
Well, you know, if you are the Minister of Finance, your government lost, you would have to look after your family. You're not going to stick around. I mean, what are you going to do?
Me see the other day with Mr. Robeson, the man Shubandong, he says, Jico Mark, he said, all the man that really worked tireless.
Yes. All right. So any other points, caller?
Well, this guy, because I want to congratulate you, Mr. Gildarie. You really do a wonderful job, you know.
No, it is our job as a people.
God bless you and keep your health and strength so you can always go on this good work.
Thank you very much, Jay. Sorry, it's
But
a
I want to
Jyoti
thank
here.
Mr. Also, I want to thank mainly Mr. Jagdev. He's another Jagan in this country.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and a good day to all our folks down there in Blackbush Polo. What a beautiful place! It's 7 miles from the main road. You should go there, Danielle. You drive off the main road 7 miles if you use the number 43. Two entrances, one through Adventure, and I think one through 43, and you go down a 7 mile roads. And along the roadway, there are vegetables hanging over the fence. And the last time I went there, it pained my heart. I saw squash on the ground for like several acres. The people couldn't sell it because the prices were low, and it didn't make sense, so it was there. But it did ache my heart that when a lot of people were getting a hard time to find stuff to eat, that we're actually wasting food. That is a conversation that we have to have too, about how we could process food, how we could find markets, instead of everybody planting squash and everybody rushing to board the market to sell that maybe several persons. How does Bartica do it? Do they have a market there? How do they do it?
Yeah, we've got a market on Bartica. But what we find, as much as there is a market, a lot of the produce comes from the Essequibo. It doesn't come from Bartica because persons in Bartica don't major a lot on farming. So we would bring in, I keep saying we, I don't know why. The residents of Bartica would keep bringing in their
Your
produce.
Bartica.
Yeah, they would keep bringing in their produce from, Essequibo and Berbice and all the other places. But a lot of persons as well, they come and, we have these push carts and so on, and you would find a lot of them along the roadways and so on. So that is basically how it is done in Bartica. We've got our markets and we've got our road vendors.
But to come back to this call from Blackbush, he has a very good point. I think it is ridiculous that if you go in up Burbies, if I go in up Burbies, I got to wake up early in the morning if I want to reach a little early.
Yeah.
It takes like about an hour for me to reach Rosenthal, another hour for you to cross from where the bridge is to reach the Blackbush to get into there. So there's like about 2 hours there alone. And if you got kids in the car, you got to be driving a little slowly. So it's about 2.5 hours there for you to actually reach. For you to leave Blackbush to come down to Georgetown, just to fix up. The guy is right to fix up an old car with some documents. Why can't I don't understand what is it. One of the good things, whether we like it or not, that was done on the collation thing was when I saw them setting up the passport office. I couldn't believe that every time you want a passport, you got to travel from the hinterlands, whether it's Latham or wherever,
Yeah.
to come down to Georgetown, stay overnight somewhere, pay a hotel, and then wait a couple days to pick it up because it takes a couple days for you to take it. But I think there's some other systems now you could post it on, and there's an outline regional thing that we're headed with. But we have to start thinking like the gentleman says.
Yeah.
Decentralization, start moving our offices for key services. I think this is one of the areas where to say you could probably have within the region online, so there'd have to be a region office there that does it. But whatever it is, the situation cannot continue. I love that call there. A good day to you, Blackbush folks, and all across Berbice, our farmers. Difficult job, rain in, poor prices, drought, everything they got to deal with, but they've been at it day in, day out. You guys stick at it. We're going to see light at the end of the tunnel sometime or the other, because there has to be a proactive stance on dealing with issues of market, of maybe instead if you have several farmers and everybody using 10 tractors, why not use one? And so you decrease the cost. We got to start thinking along those lines. Maybe I think I was speaking to Nan Prasad, and they were thinking of having all the farmers, you fly and you throw the what do you call the thing, the fertilizer via the plane, instead of you got to be going and everybody throwing the fertilizer. There's another issue.
But then something you have to take into consideration is how is it cost effective? Will it cost
It is.
more?
It is. I think they would have done the calculation, the study in it. What is important is that many of the farmers, I think this we can't really blame them. Maybe it's a lack of sensitization of awareness. A lot of them not aware of the dangers of when you use fertilizer, some kind of the fungicide or whatever it is that you're using. It's very dangerous if you don't use the protective gears, and a lot of them would do that, and then they have problems. Maybe And these are things, let's don't beat around the bush here. They have problem making kids. They have problems. It affects them physically. A lot of them drink. So there's problems that you could solve. That has to be tackled from a frontal approach. And this is why you need not a minister of agriculture that is maybe 70 years old that is going on this. I'm not saying that there's not going to be a minister that's going to be that age that's not going to be effective, but agriculture in itself needs a young, vibrant person who could actually jump in the fields, be with the farmer. This is what you're doing wrong. They've got to be knowledgeable about different varieties of rice and things like that. But let's hear some
All right,
comments.
we've got persons. I've received a lot of texts from persons. They're seeking help. They're seeking assistance. They're saying that they've been home for over 5 months and they don't have. Most persons don't have jobs. Some of them would have been laid off, and they can't make ends meet. And they're wondering what is happening. Is there any way that they can get assistance? And now, what I know, the Ministry of Social Protection as well, they have a program in which you can apply to get some help from the government. I'm not sure how much help is going to be in terms of the amount of money, or the amount of money that you are going to get. I believe it's a voucher, right? Good, it's a voucher. So we don't know what that cost is. However, something coming out of that, and we were discussing this morning. We have persons at the supermarkets. They have been saying that, hey, we've been noticing a trend that the persons that are coming to collect stocks or collect their ration using these vouchers, we've been seeing that we've got family members, 2 and 3 family members coming to collect stuff from the supermarket. Why is this happening? Shouldn't it only be one voucher per family? And then because of this, what you would find is that a lot of persons, and the persons that are really and truly in need of these vouchers, they're not getting access to it. So what is happening there? It's a bit of an unfair situation, because they're claiming that, oh, the persons responsible for the distribution of these vouchers, they're the ones that are giving their friends, they're giving their families, and then there are people out there that are really and truly in need, and they're not being able to access this service.
Well, there's some good news now from Barbie. So we're hearing, at least this is a report that's coming out from one of the media houses. And it's saying here that one of the Barbicians will be a Minister of Agriculture, no other than Zulfikar Mustafa, to be appointed Minister of Agriculture. We did talk about Siraj, but it looks as if they are going to go with Zulfikar Mustafa. And he was a former chairman of Region 6. He was also, I think, the executive. He was the executive director for the People's Progressive Party. The camp. I can't remember exactly, but he's been around for a little while, and he's familiar with the Berbice area. He's been interacting with a lot of people. There's an interesting choice. They're saying that he has a degree at the University of West Indies. But this is interesting. Let us see what happens. So, confirmed that Zulfikar Mustafa from Berbice, former regional chairman, and he would have been there before. I think David Armagon would have taken over, and he is to be the next Minister of Agriculture. So let us see how that goes. Barbie's very familiar with him there, because as a regional chairman, he would have been in almost every one of the area there doing what he has to do. So let us, we are going to be breaking at 3 o'clock. We are standing by, gentlemen, yes, for the live coverage at the convention center there, where the President Irfan Ali is going to be swearing in, or he's going to be present for the swearing in of his cabinet members. And it is going to be interesting to pay attention to some of the names. There's going to be some new faces there who are going to be replacing, or who are going to be joining some persons who have been around for a little while. Priya Manik Chan, we hearing, is going to be around at Ministry of Education. Let us see how that goes. So it's going to be interesting. But there are some other key positions that would have to be filled also in the coming days. Some state entities, and NISIL would be one of them that we'd be paying attention to, with regards to how do they move forward with the NISIL issue. NISIL was in charge of the Gaisuko privatization issue there for estates. Do they put a halt on it? How do they deal with Nissan now, especially with reports that they were broken into this morning? What really happened there? What happened to the facilities that was on the Gaisuko, the equipment and so on? Is it still in the state's ownership, or has it been sold? Where are the money, the proceeds from that? So let's see what happens there. Maybe we have a couple more minutes to take some call. Do we have any other comments here?
Yeah, we've got a person, a resident here from Eccles, and they're saying, I would like to inform the public that about a week ago, someone removed all the road lights from the roads leading to the Eccles now site. These street lights were placed about 3 months ago, and they want to share this, and they're hoping that the new Minister of Works can investigate this unlawful act.
Oh, that is something that is so shameful that the lights are placed there for
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah.
It is there for safety, and when you do that, it's millions of dollars. Who buys these lights? Where do they put them? Does anybody know who buys these lights? Do they put them in the yard? How is it that you're removing the light? There are many questions to be asked there. But if we have removed them because that area leads to a bunch of new housing schemes, including Windsor Estates, among others. So let us see. The issue has been raised there. Several of those lights have been removed. Let's go back to the calls there right now. Yes, good day, caller. You're in the air.
Hi, Mr. Gildarie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'm a regular listener to your program with Dr. Yo and in the night also. And hi to your co-host.
Denelli.
What's her name?
Yes.
Debbie Singh?
Denelli.
Oh, Denelli. Hi. To you.
Yes.
Hi there.
Mr. Yog, I'm the mother. I'm a elder. I'm the person that called when myself and my cousins, we went in Pleasance and we took some vegetables and greens and so, remember? That was a long time. But why I didn't get contact with you, my radio gone, and yesterday I went and bought one.
Thank you for that. I hope that you didn't pay a lot for it.
Oh my God. You see, when I listen to you, I got to hold this knob. I got to hold it, so that my hand catching cramp. And I'm an elderly person. I'm 70 years of age.
Oh my, you sound as if you were 20.
I am your next door neighbor. I'm living in your right hand side.
Oh my goodness. Thank you very much.
Yes. I didn't get to congratulate the president. I must say congratulations, but mostly your boss. He is the root of all evil, Mr. Glenn Lal. And I would like to say from the beginning, the 2nd of March, I have all Kaieteur newspaper on my bed here. From the 2nd to today, I have all, and I would keep it as a history. I lay it on below my mattress.
Thank you very much. So
Yeah.
we have a very nice day.
I would like to say congratulations to you. Oh my God, and Dr. Yog. You guys are awesome. Sometimes you make tears come out of my eyes. And I'm a widow. And when I went there to share all these things at Pleasance, because I have a planting, remember I said I see little children and so, but I hurt myself. I got injured in an accident.
Oh my.
And I'm traveling with spine problem right now, right? I'm an elder. I'm a asthma case also. I couldn't go back. We had to go the next week and the boys they went. I didn't get to go. The reason why I call, I must say congratulations to you both too. I want to see in the middle page with Mr. Glenn Lal in the middle, and you on the left or the right, and Dr.
No, man, we don't want to be part of this. We make the news.
I would like, I'm calling like a listener, Guyanese, if you're listening, supporters, please support me. You're awesome. You're heroes. You're the heroes. I tell you. You give, I don't know about others, but you give me hope to live.
I hear you, ma'am.
To live. I was almost dragging in this house here because I have this, and truth to this thing here, like I was getting down because due to this spine problem, right? And then one day I was looking at the television, I couldn't see, I seen like snow, white.
Oh,
and when I went, so I just, they didn't tell me I got glaucoma, but the friend, the nurse told me that auntie's glaucoma you have. So I had to use 21 medicine for my eyes. Now they tell me I have to buy this thing, the artificial teardrops. The symptoms I'm getting is like when anybody throws sand in your eyes, or the needle it's pouring you. And I have to live with that. I used to pay $1,000 or 50. Now yesterday I went $2,900 for it. Okay, that is one. But the main thing I'm coming with, Mr. Gildarie, is that I'm an asthma case, and to wear this mask when I'm home, I won't wear it because I'm by myself. But when you have to go to collect your old age pension and that NIS and to pay bills, you have to wear this mask. So what I'm asking, if which post office you're going to, if they could just run the line you're going and ask, they're looking people with strokes and people with stick, and they would take them in. But people with this asthma, Mr. Gildarie, you cannot have this mask you standing up in the sun, you know.
Yes,
Look,
it is an
one
issue,
time,
right?
this is a living testimony. I went and paid the light bill. You have the GPA right in Diamond or before Market Street there, right?
Yes, I know the
went
place.
to the line there, and when I finished there, I walk and come to this place. You call it the supermarket. They have a supermarket in Grove there.
Yes.
Bounty. So I had to go in the line. I want to pay the water bill now when I was in this line. And I start breathing. So I went and I sit on the native defense, and I see someone coming from the east with a tag. I know it's an ID. So I said, "Hi, son. Good afternoon or good day, whatsoever." I said, "If you could please help me that time. I want to go and pay this bill. If you could please give me a space to go in." And he said, I'm going to help you. And I never see him. And I went and sat in the chair. So a lady, a Negro lady, she looked at that lady and fall down there. She was a lady, a Negro lady. You know, I think I was calling in your program and I congratulated.
Yes, I remember that.
You remember?
Yes, I remember that.
But, and they went and they called the manager. So now, and I said, he's a darling. He went and he bought a taxi there. He paid for the taxi, and I remember, and I came home. So I went yesterday. I went to call it to pay your what do you call it, this phone bill at Properties, and I fall down on the pave.
Oh my, you got to take it light. You live alone?
Yes, but the thing is, because I had on the mask. But I went up to the security there and I asked. I said, listen, I'm an asthma case. If you could please allow me to go in because I went in the line. But then I see somebody peeping at the window, you know. And then I go in and I fall down. And many times I could hit my head. So what I'm saying, if anybody, they listen from, you know, like the GPO or in the post office, they could come in the line and, you know, and ask, you know. How
I hear you. I hear you, sister. I hear you.
But yesterday, you know, I fall on it was when I fall on, then somebody come and take me in.
Yes.
You know.
Thank
so
you very much.
Why I called.
And you keep on listening, and then of course anytime you give a call, right?
I have my clock. I just upon me here 1:30 and 7:30. And Mr. Yogi, he on leave.
No, he has decided that, we had to beg him, and he came on and he was with us during the elections. Elections over now. So he's gone back to doing what he has to do. But thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes.
Have a pleasant rest of the day and keep on listening, okay?
Thank you so much, Mr. Gildarie. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. So that caller there, it warms the heart, but it also, it brings back the very harsh reality that our senior citizens, that we have to be as humanly as possible when it comes to, let's pay attention that maybe we're so busy. There was a beautiful song by Phil Collins years ago, Danielle, Another Day in Paradise. But the man who saw the street person and he walks on, he keeps on whistling. It's another day for him. But for that person there, had he maybe stopped and say hello, maybe give some help, it would have gone a long way. But it is what it is. We have to start paying attention. Let's start within our neighborhoods. Let us start within where we do whatever we're doing. As we get ready to go to the convention center there, I want to say thank you very much, Danielle. Anything else that you want to say before we close? Unfortunately, we are going to close a little early. It's a very important day. We are going to hear the names of the new cabinet, which is going to lead this country here in the next 5 years, be in charge of the different ministries. And these ministers are going to be the ones whose feet the people of Guyana will be holding to the fire because I think we want them to perform, and we also wish them the best also. So let's see where that goes. Maybe if you have something in closing that we could tell you.
All right, I just want to, we have been receiving countless texts, both on our WhatsApp and our SMS. We wanted to just remind you guys, don't give up. Keep texting us. We might not be able to, share or touch the topic that you would have wanted us to touch. But remember, it's a new program where we're now starting out, and you will have the opportunity to have your concerns aired. Wake Up Guyana is all about you. It's not about us. We want to hear what you have to say and what are some of the concerns that you have. All right. So again, good afternoon to everybody, and thanks so much for tuning in this afternoon.
Thank you very much, there, and thank you for tuning in. West Bank, Bell West. I see you guys are talking about the roads there. Hope the authorities go into the RDC there in Region 3, sorry, along Breeden Hoop Road there, and make your application there. You want your road fixed, let them know from it, let them put it in the budget, let them come there and maybe even grade it down. You could do that. And if you have contractors listening to, and you guys have equipment and that maybe you could assist the street here and there in your community, let us do whatever we can. Let us not wait for the big figures. We could, in our own little ways, pay attention and do a little that could help our people in this beautiful country of ours. So I want to say thank you very much for joining us right across this beautiful land of ours. And the big news is that there is going to be a swearing in, or there's going to be the swearing in of new cabinet members in a very short while, within minutes, at the Convention Center, International Convention Center, Railway Embankment. So we say goodbye from Danielle, Singh, and myself, Leonard Gildarie, the rest of the guys at the radio here, and Kaieteur News, to all our beautiful people across this land and wherever you join us from. Wake up, Guyana. Thank you very much.
COVID-19 tips sponsored by Dex Soap. 1. Practice social distancing. 2. Wear your mask when leaving the house. 3. Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds using our Dex Soap. 4. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze. Choose Dex Soap for that extra cleanliness. Dex Soap is affordable and available nationwide.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's